It was year after year after year of struggle. And I think about that now, and I'm like, I wonder how many people are learning ads and just give up after 6 months, or they give up after a year.
Well, hey, welcome back to the Amanda Kaufman Show. And I've got a real treat for you. This guest, David Schloss, is a media buyer. And if you don't know what a media buyer is, well, you will by the end of this episode. Basically, his job is to get eyeballs, for the brands that he supports. And this man has 18 years of media buying experience. That is uncommon. And he has spent collectively, let me check my notes here, $300 million in ad spend. Like, whoa, that's quite a lot of ad spend. I think it says a lot about how much trust the clients that work with David have. And here's the real truth. We met in a room. We were in a room and we connected and we were talking about marketing, but also coaching and having impact and influence in really wonderful ways to make the world much, much better. When David made a really interesting post on his Facebook, I had to follow up and I just reached out and said, hey man, would you like to do a show? And here he is. I'm so excited to have you here, David.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite and looking forward to giving value to the audience and seeing what I can do for them.
I love it. Now, can you just give us a little bit of a primer? I sort of introduced Media Buying 101, but what makes a role like yours or a job like yours so important, especially now in 2025?
Yeah. I will say that a lot of media buying these days, we're kind of like data scientists, right? And so we're looking at not just the front end data, getting the leads, getting the initial sale, getting the website visitor, whatever it may be. Now I need to know what happens in the middle of the cycle, meaning did they buy anything else after the fact? Did they buy an upsell, a downsell, a cross sell? Did they buy anything 3 months later, 6 months later? All those data points now are far more important in the media buying journey than they were when I started. Because when I started, it was, I spent $1, I made $2, can I do it again? That was it. There was not much else because there weren't platforms that existed back then like they are today, where I can see a whole customer journey from beginning to end, whether it was 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or 4 years from now. That data was very difficult to track. Now, it's practically baked into every tracking platform, where it's you acquired them from this network, and they bought this, and then they bought that, and then they did this thing, and it's like you could see every step they took. And it's a part of our job to figure out where can we increase that order value, that average order value from the very beginning all the way to the end, and how do we get them to stick in that ecosystem for as long as possible. And we didn't have to do that before.
Word ecosystem, because I remember starting my entrepreneurial journey because, I think it's impolite to reference age, but I think we're about the exact same age. But the first 10 years of my career, I spent in a corporate context and I was teaching about procurement. And when I think about procurement and I think about media buying, I'm like, man, it's kind of very similar in the sense that you're trusted with $1 and that your job is to make that dollar grow, right? And do the best you can with that dollar. It's like smarter spending, right? But I remember when I became an entrepreneur about 8 years ago, my whole, my informed opinion about advertising, which was not terribly well informed, was mainly informed by Mad Men. I thought it was all about the crazy creatives or the really flashy stop you in your tracks ads. And I love that you're talking about this ecosystem thing, because what I've learned over the years is I'm like, people ping pong between the podcast and the Instagram and the Facebook, and they're on and they're off and they're engaged and they're disengaged. And, so much of the game, of building a real relationship relies nowadays on having a full on ecosystem. Because even when I was learning from my mentors, everything was always taught in a straight line. It was always this linear pathway where it's like, okay, I show the ad and then they opt in and then I give value and then they buy from me and then you're a millionaire. And it's like, that's not so much it anymore.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't believe it's ever really been linear. It's just we couldn't tell, right? As more networks came along, it wasn't so linear. Now, we started off, it wasn't even Facebook. Go further back, right? MySpace, Friendster, and there's all these other networks, High Five, there's a bunch. But Facebook was the one that I really dove into because when that network first opened up to the public around 2007, it was the one platform where I was like, I could learn this for $1 a day. Oh my God, that's crazy. All these other ones have limits. I have to put $100, $500. Some of them had like, oh, you can't do anything unless you put $1,000 pre-funded in the account. It's like, I'm a college student. I can't do that. But Facebook was like $5, $1, $2. And I was able to try something. That's all I wanted to do was just figure it out. And then on top of that, social networks back then weren't that big. Like, people didn't want to be on them and, like, I'll just talk to my friends in person, or, I don't want to be on the internet all day. That's all obviously changed. But for me, it was like, I could put $1 in here and make it $2? Okay, how do I figure that out? What is a landing page? What are these affiliate IDs? What's ClickBank? Like, these are all things that were still very new back then. What's affiliate marketing? Right? How do I build a page out of HTML? Like, these were all things I had to figure out on my own because there wasn't a ClickFunnels or a Go High Level or any of those other platforms, because everything had to be done one step at a time, and you had to do it by hand, and you had to pray it worked. And then you would know it worked because you went, wow, I put $1 in there and I see there's $2 over here. So I guess I did something right. So now it's everything has a couple push button opportunities to plug it all together. And then you have these tracking platforms that could tell you if they go and did something else and clicked on this other thing and went to TikTok and came back, and that didn't exist. And so it's actually more complicated in a sense because you have to track all these other pieces. But the ability to learn it is way easier now. Like, there was no training back then. Your training was do it. That was the training. And so, for me, this is my life. It's been my life for the last 18 years. Half my life, honestly. And then on top of that, there's not many other opportunities where you could put something in to where $5 turns to 10 or $1,000 turns to $2,000, right? It's you can see the direct correlation of, I put this in, it led to this, and the whole journey of them getting to that point. And that's what got me obsessed with media buying. So yeah.
I'm thinking about where was I in 2007, and that was when I started my Facebook account. And I remember taking pictures of my salad and talking about something that happened at university. And you're so right. There's more access to information in an organized way. Because a lot of these opportunities, I think when they very first come on the scene, people are like, psh, they kind of scoff a little, and they're like, nah, that's not real, because they have all of this other stuff they've been doing for a long time that's more proven. Mm-hmm. But I guess you're sort of laughing all the way to the bank after having figured that one out, huh?
I mean, it's one of those things where I've had my ebbs and flows with media buying, right? If you want to take it way back to the beginning, I didn't have my breakthrough until around 2012. So I had 5 years of convincing people why they even needed to have a Facebook account. My first webinar ad was in 2010.
I still have to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
25. Still having this conversation, right. But go ahead.
It's still something that has to be done. But 2010, I ran my first webinar ad. Back then, they were still called teleseminars or just online seminars, right? And GoToWebinar was the primary platform through Citrix, right? And so that's how I've been around for a while. I remember the main company's name. And so it's also the fact that, like, the technology couldn't handle 1,000 people on at the same time. And back then, you could get a registrant for $1 or $2 and just flood it with people, and then it would break. And then you'd become known as the guy who breaks people's webinars, right? And it's a lot of these things had to happen in order for me to finally get to the point where I can go, you need to run Facebook ads. And then whoever I was talking to was like, okay, what do you need from me? It took years. It took a long time for me to get there. Plus, I was 23 by the time it finally started to click. So I went all this time as a broke college kid, graduated, and was like, I still am not making enough to do this full time. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm really good at this, and people just don't want to give me money consistently, until my big breakout case study of getting someone like 5,000 registrations in a week. And I was like, and I did this for $6,000. They're like, $1 something a registrant? Can you do that for me? Yes. And then that was the beginning of it, right? It was just like, okay, we got something now. But It was year after year after year of struggle. And I think about that now, and I'm like, I wonder how many people are learning ads and just give up after 6 months, or they give up after a year. And I'm like, I went 5 to 6 years, and I still couldn't get people after making them tens of thousands of dollars back then, right? I mean, I gave you 5,000 registrations, and you made $100,000. I didn't get a piece of all that, by the way, because I didn't know how to structure things back then, and so I was just getting a couple $1,000s to do my job. That was huge for me back then. So now
there's so many lessons in this, though, right? Like your
tons.
big breakthrough was when you got an outstanding result in a repeatable process that you could carry forward to do again and again and again and replicate that. And, you know, there's a lot of listeners of this show that they're in a position where they're either pivoting their career and starting something new, or they've been at this for a while and they're not seeing the breakthrough they had hoped to see by now. But really, that answer of do something phenomenal that someone would brag about and have a process around it that you can repeat. I mean, that's basically the recipe, isn't it?
That's business in general, right? Yeah. It's like you just want to have a similar output. You know, you can repeat this process over and over. Is it something you can do and others can do, right? Because eventually you want to hire some people to do it so then you can scale, right? Is this a repeatable process that you believe in, that you've probably done a couple times now, so you validated that it works? And then for me, at least, it was, can I bring this to other niches and do it again, right? Okay, I did this in the business opportunity space. Can I do it in real estate? Can I do it in insurance? Can I do this in fitness? Once I did this in a couple of industries, I was like, I figured this out. Like I immediately knew it's game time. And then I was able to bring that to other industries confidently, showcase the results, and then people were like, how much? That took years. And I just didn't give up. I just kept going. And look, even when I did figure it out, still went broke because I was trying to scale quickly, and I messed that up quite a few times, right? And so it's like there's tons of learning experience through this, but it was the fact that I took that one skill and I just got better and better and better and better. And like even now, I'm still learning things. I'm on more than one network, obviously, and I have a whole team and a variety of other things, but I just didn't stop learning the buying process, and I kept buying more media. And I made sure that I would educate the masses on like why you need to do this and how you can do it, and how I was able to do, you know, take someone's $5,000 and make it 25. And I did it not once, but 10 times in a month. And it was like all these, I was just showing off how I did it. That was enough for people to go, okay, got it. He's great. How much? That's really all it took. It sounds easy because now it is. Now you can do that over and over and showcase it. Once you have it. But I didn't even have an audience back then. And I was like, hey, look, case study. It's like 20 people saw it, right? It's like, this is a part of the process. Like I had to develop a brand and talk to people and get over the fear of being on a stage. And there's so many things I had to evolve into as a business owner, as much as a media buyer, to get this all to work. And from a online entrepreneur standpoint, it's like, even if you hone in on that one skill, in order to truly see the growth potential that you envision, because we all want to be wealthy, there's usually that point where you have to start over again. And I mean start over as in like, I got to learn a new skill and I'm at ground zero again. And in my case, it was speaking in front of hundreds of, if not thousands of people at a time. Because I did it on a webinar and I'm like, oh, this is easy. Okay, go do it on a stage. That's a little scary. And then I had to work on that, right? And then it was like, oh yeah, I got to learn about personal branding, you know, and do all that again. So
totally. I think that's the joy of entrepreneurship in my view, is it feels kind of like a high stakes video game in some ways, because when you hit that, like when you get kind of to the level one where it's like people will pay you money to do your thing, yeah, and you figure that out, it's like you can't unfigure that out. Like you know how to have the conversation once you learn how to have the conversation. So it's like, okay, cool. So I always get that. And then you get to that next level, like you said, and it's like, oh, now I got to work on branding. Oh, now I got to work on automation. Oh, now I got to work on leading people. Whoa, financial management. And there's like all these different things. And I think what makes it especially really interesting is that everyone is coming at this from a different background, different even upbringing. different mindset, and they're making decisions at different points in life that makes every single one of our video games pretty unique. And I think that's pretty cool.
And we all have a different story to tell, right? Mm-hmm. I just happen to have a story that started in the social media world, right? My entrepreneurial journey started on social, right? Most people's entrepreneurial journey may have started because of their 20 years of experience in insurance, and they were like, I'm tired of being an agent. And so I transitioned, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to build my own brokerage, and I'm going to have a team of agents. They had a different story. And then they integrated the online piece after. Mine started online. It was with the first network that went, let's make billions of dollars. It's different. It's just a different path. But at the same time, I grew up with that. Facebook is it's like another parent, because I literally started at 18. I had a profile at 16. I got in 2005, right? But it was one of those things where once I was growing as an adult, I was also growing on Facebook. I was showcasing everything going on. Hey, look where I'm going. Look what I'm doing. Look what I'm building. And then I would continually just journal life. 18 years of my life is on this network. It's half my life, right? And so that's the thing. People are like, oh, how could you be on social all the time? It's like, because that's been my life. It's been half my life. So I don't know how else to showcase my results than to be on social media. Because,
and that's why you're here, by the way.
That's why I'm here.
Because you just posted something, and I was just like, that's outstanding. Hey, do you do podcasts?
Exactly. And so now, when you show that to people, and it's like, oh, how do I get results on social? Well, you got to treat social as almost like you're talking to another human being, which you are. But, like, imagine it's your friend. What would you tell them? What would you show them? What would you break down? I'm very vulnerable on social. Not in a sense where I'm like, look at everything going on in my life, but like when I'm having a struggle in my business, I'll tell them, hey, I struggle with these things and I'm working on it. Does anyone have any suggestions? And everyone responds. Now, yes, there's engagement. Got it. But I'm also looking at it from the standpoint of, look, everyone, I'm human. I'm an entrepreneur who actually has problems. It's not just a highlight reel. That's what's allowed me to be in a space where, we're oftentimes showcasing numbers. And it's great to be like, look at all the money we're making for people. But I'm not saying, look at all the money I'm making. I'm talking about everyone else. I only talk about me when it's like, hey, I learned this thing. I'd love to be able to do it for more people who's interested. Or I'm having a struggle with this. Who could help me? And because of that, I've built really good rapport in a marketplace flooded with BS, right? And so it's helped really build this foundation of like a strong level of trust and responsibility and honesty, which has allowed my business to grow. And if more people treated social like that, they'd probably get results too. So I just wanted to throw that part in there.
I love that. So I also got on Facebook pretty early on, but then I worked for a corporation that was like, don't ever be online, right? Like they were trying to mitigate their risk by making sure that we were always ambassadors of the company, et cetera. So I developed kind of a fear of being on social media or saying the wrong thing. So when I started, I was like 2 years anti social media, and really, it took a lot of reflection to realize exactly what you just said. And I developed my mantra, which is I'm using media to be social. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just using media to be social. And it's I don't treat it as much like a live journal. My journals are for generally me, but I do exactly what you're talking about of I treat it like the conversation with my friends, because that's what it is. And here's the breakthrough. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I'm going through. Using media to be social, as opposed to using the media to just get attention, because getting attention is actually not that hard, No, but
and it's
building relationships. That's a different thing.
Right. But I will say this, getting attention, which is my whole thing. I call myself an attention architect. So I'm just crafting attention all day. But one of the things that I've told people for years is that you can learn ads for $1 a day. Still, to this day, you can spend $1 and use, let's say, the ad platform on Facebook as your gym. Because if you think about it, you don't go to the gym once, work out, and go, it's not working. I don't have abs. This isn't working for me. You have to go over and over and over and over to build muscle. The ad manager is where you're building your muscle. Every dollar you spend, you're working the muscle. You're also learning where you're going to make mistakes. Oh, I clicked the wrong button, it didn't spend. Oh, I clicked the wrong button, my ad's been deleted. That's your reps. You're putting in your reps. So the ads manager is the gym, and the more time you spend in the gym, the better you get at it. It's like that on any ad platform. Because I've spent, I don't even know how many hours in the ads manager, I'm sure it's a lot. It's one of those things where I can do it in my sleep. I've told people how to connect me to a business manager, not in front of my computer. I've just done it off memory. I've been outside and been like, go here, click this, it looks like this, go do that, and then boom, I'm connected. I even know my business ID off the top of my head. It's just because I've done it so many times. It's like a credit card number, right? And so because of that, they know I've put in the work, because there are other agencies and media buyers out there who can't even repeat the steps of connecting certain things when I've done it thousands of times. And that's how you know you've put in the work, right? So if you ever felt like, oh, I can't figure this out, you just haven't put in the reps, right? And so you do that, it changes everything.
And learn from somebody like you, maybe, who has the mastery. Because I think one of the side steps or mistakes that I've certainly made over the years when it comes to media buying is just getting third-hand training on how to do it from someone who learned from a guy, who learned from a guy, who learned from a guy. And it took me a hot minute to be like, you know, if I went more directly to the source of a real master in this stuff, then maybe I might get even better results. And one of the things I'm really taking away from this conversation is this idea of like walking before you're running and doing, you know, pull-ups and doing crazy antics in the gym. It's like that's a future you can have, but be willing to do the walking before you do the running. And, you know,
Absolutely.
don't look for a silver bullet, and don't look for people who haven't got the reps to show you what you need to know.
Pretty straightforward. Yep.
Pretty straightforward. So David, this is awesome. How can people like keep up with you, see what's coming up next, and follow your journey?
So I put a lot of stuff out on Facebook and Instagram, obviously. That's where I tell everyone what's going on in my world. Facebook.com/SCHLOSSY. My nickname is Schlossy. Everyone's called me that since I was in 6th grade. It's very easy to find. Now on Instagram, I'm a little more proper. It's Instagram.com/David Schloss, SCHLOSS. I have a pinned post for all of you who want to have some really cool stuff in your arsenal. You can basically get it for free, no cost to you. Just type in GPT. I send you a free nice gift, and it'll tell you how to write copy just like me. And it'll also give you posts just like me. But it makes everything very simple, so that way you can learn how exactly I craft ads that convert. The whole bot is built to create long form and short form content the exact way I do it in ads. So you don't have to think. It's literally you prompt it, a couple lines, what was your product about? Boom, it's done. And I'm not joking, it's like instant. And if you're like, I don't know what images to make, ask it. Hey, what do I create in Canva? Here's what you make in Canva. Oh, I don't know what to do for my Notion template. Here's what I do in my Notion template. Like it's pretty straightforward. And the whole point of me building that for people was so that they're not scared to start. That's it. You know, I don't know how to write copy. Okay, I'll do it for you. I don't know what images to make. All right, I'll do it for you. I just want you to start. And then once you start, then we'll have a conversation about some other stuff. But I just want you to start.
I love it.
And so that's why I built it. So Instagram is where you'll find me. Just type in my name. I'm the one with the blue check. There's no other David Schlosses with a blue check. It's just me. And then, you know, I give away a lot of cool stuff there. So,
that's super cool. And, you know, I always have so much respect for somebody who has achieved at the level that you have, that turns around and makes it beginner easy. Like, not many people take the time to do that because frankly, you don't have to. You know, and so thank you so much for making such a generous gift, you know, so widely and publicly available. And by the way, dear listener, we've got David's Schlossy's links below. So you can go check him out on all the platforms, check out his website, all the things. David, thank you so much for being here.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Yes. And dear listener, if this was an inspiring conversation, I'll bet you've got like 3 friends who would love to hear it. So grab the link to the episode, make sure you send it off to them. Could be DM, could be text. And don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, because we've got other episodes coming out real soon that I think are going to be really interesting. And if you really love this, do take a moment to leave a review, because those reviews help people choose our show when they're out for their walks, when they're looking for inspiration. And that is the way that you can give back the very most. Until our very next episode, I can't wait to hear what you found really helpful, what's moving you forward. Just remember, keep doing what matters.